Hi, welcome back to the farm. So today it's Sunday and yesterday I went to the Henham steam rally. I've just come up to the stubble turnips field to show you the devastating damage the flea beetle has done and the caterpillars as well. Really bad this year, so we're going to have to put an insecticide on these to try and save this crop of turnips. Whether we will or not is debatable. Might be a bit too late now, but they did catch me out. The caterpillars caught me out this year, so we'll just go and have a look at these. Caused by the flea beetles. If you have a look here, really bad damage over the last couple of weeks. And another culprit, caterpillars, they are really bad as well. So unless we put an insecticide on this like tomorrow, we won't have any turnips this year. I mean, it's really bad. We've also got a flea beetle as well, so you've got the flea beetle and also caterpillars eating the turnips, which I fought so hard to try and grow this year. And the flea beetle has got progressively worse over the last few years. They're also trying to ban some of the seed dressings for stubble turnips, which is the only way you can grow stubble turnips these days. It's exactly the same with oilseed rape, and it's also the same with sugar beet as well. That's why we packed in sugar beet, because of the neonicotinoid ban on seed treatments for the sugar beet. Also, the price wasn't enough to basically justify the cost of growing it. So not good actually, because you know I was really over the moon with how this crop was growing up, but we have got a pesticide going on it tomorrow, and then a broadleaf herbicide just to kill the weeds. But they're still alive for now, but they are fighting for their lives, these little turnips of mine. But I suppose that's the advantage of having your own equipment. If you had your own sprayer, you could do this now, but we're reliant on Frontier, so we've asked them. Hopefully they'll come and do it. All right, well, moving on from the turnips there, which are a bit disappointing, we're back in the farmyard, and as you can probably see here, the 6R is back up and running. I put a new battery in it the other day. It was the John Deere Alternatives one from a local dealership. It was about £100 less than the more premium battery. We'll see how long it lasts. And then I put the subsoiler on the back for subsoiling, and I've also got the shear bolts in the workshop, which will go on, and then finally we can begin that job. The girders have been cut up with the angle grinder, which are going on Friday for the dealership, which will go on the main entrance basically of the building for the workshop. So that is all ready. That's what these sitting here. I actually rested the points on there to stop damaging the concrete, which actually worked out pretty well. Unfortunately, the 6930 on the back, the flail mower broke, so it's actually over the road, and I'll just show it you quickly. But it's been taking straw out to the cattle in the feed trailer. That's what this machine's been up to, and it is running really well. No oil leaks or no problems ever since we repaired it and got it all going, so it's been good as gold, to be fair. And you'll have to let me know in the comments, do you think the front box looks better on the 6R or on the 6.9? Personally, I think it looks better on the 6R. It's much more suited to the size of tractor that it is, basically, the 6R, so that does work out really well. And you've also got the LED lights on there. They're sold by Cherry Products. It used to be Smart Box, now it's Box Smart, and you've got LED lights, floodlights, hazard beacons as well. You'll see when we're out subsoiling how it works. And you've also got an insert of weight, which you can change depending on your tractor and how much weight you want in it, basically. So at the moment it's running about 950 kilos for that machine, and it works really well. So the other day I got back from the field and I dropped this off this machine, and as I was dropping it off, just lowered down the link arms, I just caught this in my eye, and bloody hell, frame's cracked. And it hasn't just cracked, it's like pretty bad, because it has literally sheared off the frame. The other side isn't as bad, but it is beginning to crack. and the only thing I can put it down to is maybe a design fault, because this is the Buffalo, which is about rated for 200 horsepower. It's the more heavy duty machine that they make. We've had it for about 5 years now. It has been, up until this point, quite a good machine. But yeah, just really disappointing about this. And I think it's what it is, that the machine is heavy duty, so it's so much weight pressing down on this frame, and the frame they have designed isn't strong enough to hold the flail mower, basically. So that is the issue. And what we'll have to do, I've got a grinding disc or a cutting disc. I'll just run it through there. We'll pull that down with a set of ratchet straps, or we might heat this up to not crack the next weld, but we'll weld all this up, weld that there, weld the rest of it, and then the first opportunity I get, it'll be traded in for something else, I'm afraid, because that hasn't had a hard life. It's not, you know, it shouldn't really have done that, to be honest. It mainly does the margins, and it does overgrown areas for customers, for local farmers. I mean, it takes out bramble bushes, it takes out hedges, for God's sakes. It's a good bit of kit, but I just, you know, that metal there as well, the box section, isn't strong enough, and I do think this is just a slight design fault. They could have maybe come up with a better solution for that, because, you know, it's arced round. You know, you're going to need almost like solid steel, I would say. They're not hollow steel, but they've obviously done it that way. And yeah, let me know in the comments if anyone's had the same problem or not. They are, like I say, it has been a really good machine, but yeah, it will be fabricated on and welded up. Another job to do. And then next to that, we've got the agri-tail, we've got the bales underneath there waiting for winter, which will be obviously pretty soon, and then containers on. So that was another job I did the other day, and that was for bringing the cattle home, which will be very soon. So the turnips aren't doing too well, as we found out, and it really has put into question how much longer we're going to be growing turnips on this farm. I think if anything, we'll try and grow more fodder beet, because that does do quite well year on year. It's the only thing which is resistant to pests, grows a good yield, does well in the drought, and provides enough nutrition and energy for the animals in the winter when we need it. So the fodder beet is actually a good crop. All right, well, I'm now back in the grain store, and yeah, yesterday went to Henham Steam Rally. Really good day out, really enjoyed it. Loads of classic tractors. I'll put some montage on the screen now. They had an original Ransom's baler, one of the first balers, which worked off a threshing machine, which was really good to see. Just loads of old school steam engines as well, like just amazing. Really worth going to even if you've never seen it before and you're not into steam engines. It's just nice to see the old ways being preserved. And I suppose my concern is that in the future, that if the next generation don't conserve it, they won't be able to witness, you know, the importance of it, of seeing how farming used to exist back in the day with a lot of the older kit, you know, the threshing machines, all the classic equipment, the classic tractors. Just really good day out. Thoroughly enjoyed the classic tractors, some Gold Belly Massey Fergusons. There was a 35 which had been really nicely done up. Didn't find a 35X though. It was a really nice 65 as well, which had been done up, and a wonderful Ford 5000. And I've never been the biggest Ford guy, but that could be the one to get me into Fords. Shout out to George if you're watching with the Ford Challenge, George Saunders. Yeah, the 5000 was cool. It was really nice looking tractor, and it had been done up amazingly well. A lovely John Deere 6410, which is one of my favourite tractors, there as well, in original condition with the TLS suspension, which was quite nice to see. Quite rare actually, as there's not many of those left, yeah, in original condition like that, so it was quite nice to see. And loved the classic cars actually, really got into my classic cars. There was a Ford Escort Mark 1 RS2000, which was really nice, in orange, which was quite rare. And there was also a really cool Cadillac, which was sort of really old school American muscle car, or sort of big car, you know, how they used to be, and a really cool GMC American pickup. And in a world where people nowadays love all these, you know, modern supercars, flash supercars, McLarens and Ferraris and everything, I just thought it was such a breath of fresh air seeing some classic cars. And I think people get so much more respect driving a classic car than, you know, a flash Ferrari or McLaren or whatever it is. I mean, the owners were just being interacting with the public like you wouldn't believe. And I think the thing is, people have a lot more respect for a classic car owner than someone who drives a McLaren or whatever it is. So yeah, I think they were cool, and a part of me would love to, with the 135, I'd love a Mark 1 Escort. I just think they're cool. Ford Anglias are cool as well. And there's just a scene, you know, classic car scene out there, which I'd love to be a part of as well at some point. And I suppose the other thing is, it depends what you've grown up with, what your classic car is, and what you love to drive. I think for my dad, it was he was actually a Ford man. He had a Ford XR2, but he'd always said, oh, the Golf GTI was one to have. And then there's of course the XR3 as well, I think as well, which I'm sure one of the older generation will correct me in the comment section. But yeah, I just found it really cool learning about classic cars. And in a world where everything's becoming so much more complicated, the classic cars are like a breath of fresh air, because they're so simple, so easy to drive. You could have a project, do it up and drive it on the weekends and just put it on like classic car insurance and keep it under 1,000 miles a year and just really enjoy it. And yeah, are just great. And you know, just in a world where there's electric cars everywhere and Teslas and all that sort of thing, and you know, all these Chinese electric cars, I just thought it was really cool. And we need to keep things like this going, because if the townies don't want to keep country shows going, like in the future if they ban them or something because of the emissions on the old classics, then it will be a very sad world indeed, because it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? You know, you get an ice cream, go and see all the displays. And then also, I did speak to Suffolk Plant Machinery, and they had a Chinese digger there. You know, 10 years ago, if you'd have said a Chinese digger, what do you think of it? Would you buy one? I'd have probably said not really, no. But the quality of it did seem really good. And a lot of farmers now are actually moving away from Honda quad bikes and moving to CF Moto. Lings at Harleston now sell CF Moto. And they're actually made in China, but the quality is very, very good. A lot of people are saying they're very reliable and well made. So in a time where, you know, everything is becoming so expensive, machinery wise, you know, a lot of people go for the top brands, myself included. You know, I'm always after the John Deeres. It was quite a breath of fresh air to see some more affordable options out there for farmers. You know, if you go for the JCB and it costs like 30-40 grand for a new digger, and one of these ones was like 14 grand, you know, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? As long as you've got the warranty, and I think it did come with a 2-year warranty. So, and I think China will be one to watch. You know, keep an eye on China and see how they progress, because they will start producing some really good stuff in the future. I know they're gonna get better and better, and they want to break into the European market. And you know, Western manufacturers will have to be careful, because China has the manufacturing capability, and they want to cut out the Western manufacturers, machinery manufacturers, and China wants to go direct to the Western customer, because they know the Western customers have got the money. So China's clever, and maybe they will one day be #1 economy in the world. I think they're well on their way. So yeah, love to visit China at some point. I do actually speak to a farmer from Britain who actually farms in China now for a big company, and he's invited me out there. Hell of a place, hell of an operation. But yeah, with that, Sunday evening, we've got roast lamb on the farm tonight for dinner, so we're having that, and we've also got black apples picked off the orchards and blackcurrants. We've got apple and blackcurrant pie for pudding with ice cream and cream. So that's what I'm having tonight, and hopefully this week we'll be subsoiling, we'll get out doing some work. We've got a digger coming on demo, hopefully, or some machinery, digger and a telehandler at some point, and a big saw machine to cut the branches on the farm as well, which will be quite interesting in the next couple of weeks. And then we've also got the cattle coming home as well, and the sprayer out to kill off all of the flea beetles which are currently ravishing the turnip crop. So yeah, with that, thanks for watching, keep liking and subscribing and all of that good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one. Click here to subscribe to the channel, and click here to watch another Ollie's Farm video.